Hey friend, Roger Christopherson here again with another first listen review. Not a whole lot coming out this week. You know, that kind of happens every year. You get closer to Christmas, the end of the year. You don't see a whole lot of new releases. Last year, everything released was almost all from Frontier's record label. This week, nothing. I don't think there's anything for the rest of the year from them. I don't know of any real big releases coming out till the end of the year, but this one's kind of a new, extremely old release. It's the Allman Brothers Band, their live concert, their official release now finally from the Syria, say that right this time, Syria Mosque. It's Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. I guess it was released on Spotify and stuff back a couple months ago, but it actually came out on CD just here this past Friday, and just got done listening through it. And I hadn't heard any of this stuff. I guess some of the stuff has been released prior to this, but I hadn't heard any of it. But, you know, I kind of grew up listening to a rock station on the radio that played the Allman Brothers all the time, and I didn't really own a whole lot of Allman Brothers stuff when I was younger. I was more into the harder rock and the metal and all that kind of stuff in my younger days, but I remember getting Seven Turns, and that one, that album kind of like was the one that did it for me, and I don't remember what year that came out, but I remember just listening to that one a lot. And I had the chance to see these guys live in concert. They played really close to my hometown, and it was funny, my sister and I went to see him because none of my friends are really into Allman Brothers, and she would just go to any concert that her big brother would take her to. So we went and saw them, and I remember it was kind of cool. We got really good seats too. We were like really close to the stage, and about an hour into it, they just got up and walked off stage, and didn't say anything, no announcement, no nothing. And we're like, man, that was really short. What the heck's going on? Like, they didn't play any of their big hits, and they didn't play Whipping Post or anything yet. And I was like, what the heck is going on here? And other people looking around all confused. All of a sudden, people get up and start walking out and leaving. Like, a good chunk of the crowd got up and started leaving. Finally, they get on the PA and announce, so the band is taking a short break, half an hour break or whatever it was. It was quite a long break, actually. They'll be back for the second half of the set. And we're like, well, that would have been nice to know, you know, before all these other people walked out and left. And then they came back out and just killed it. And, I mean, Greg Allman, one of the all-time greatest singing blues voices out there, in my opinion. Plus, I mean, he plays like killer Hammond. I mean, come on. Really, there's like, just that sound is like, he just, I don't know, owns that sound, in my opinion. And of course, you know, Dwayne was also on this recording. This, you know, back in 71, I forget the actual date, January 17th, 71. Also in the band at this time was Dickie Betts, Barry Oakley, Jamo, I don't know if I say that right, I've heard it pronounced different ways, and Butch Trucks. So, pretty short set. I don't know if this is the whole thing. I guess it was the whole show. But yeah, it's quite a, I mean, well, I was gonna say it's a good show, but and they were performing like crazy on this. But if you plan on getting this, just be aware this is like a long, I guess they're doing a whole lot of you know, these unreleased vault type concerts and stuff from, you know, their catalog, and the recording on this one is not great. It's not like horrible or anything. It's not like unlistenable or anything like that, but it's not great. It was like recorded directly off the board. I mean, technology back in those days was what it was, you know, especially for live recordings. Don't know what they ever planned on using this for, but it's not great. It's, you know, it's just so you know that if you plan on getting this and you think it's going to be something you're going to sit down, it's just going to be like an amazing hi-fi listen. It's just not. You know, there's distortion happening because the vocals are too loud, you know, in a few parts. There's a lot of feedback through the first few of the songs that they didn't get under control for about halfway through it seems like. And, you know, just the mix is bad. There's a lot of static. It fades in and out from left to right. Sometimes you lose a little bit of sound here and there. It just is what it is. But you know what? It's listenable, like above and beyond listenable. So if you know what you're getting into, and you know what you're going to set the mood for, and you know that it's a bootleg. It sounds like a good quality bootleg is what it sounds like. So knowing that, going into it, which I didn't know, but now that I listen to it, I let everybody else know that that's kind of like what you're in for. You can still get lost in the performance. I mean, it's amazing how good these guys were being this young. I mean, they sound just as amazing back then as they did in their last few years. And, you know, what can you say about this band that hasn't already been said? But, you know, you got the Dwayne Allman playing so much, like, slide guitar on this. It was just insane. The only, like, downside to any of this was that Midnight Rider was, like, super short. It's, you know, it's a short song as it is, but it's 3 minutes. That's it. Over and done. Statesboro Blues is what kicked it off, you know, and they can tell they were having trouble getting it dialed in their first few songs. But by the time they get to, like, In Memory of Elizabeth Reed, they pretty much got the sound under control. There was a lot of percussion going on that was really loud in the first couple songs, kind of like overpowered some of the guitar playing. It's another little bit downside, but you can hear the guitar really good, the bass is really solid, the drums are kind of back in the mix, so you don't get that full feel of the punchiness you would like if you're listening to a real or good recorded live album. So unfortunately you don't have that, but you get to hear Dwayne just tearing it up, and you can hear Dwayne just singing his butt off. Of course, Dickie Betts is a great guitar player too. When they're doing their, you know, leads together, they're like just so on. It's just amazing how good this band could play. And this kind of jam, and they make stuff up because they never played these songs the same way, you know, every night. And they were doing that way back then. This 14 minutes is, you know, In Memory of Elizabeth Reed. Same thing with You Don't Love Me, you know, old Willie Cobb song that they covered. They did cover, you know, a lot of their songs were actually covers. I mean, a good chunk of them anyway. But, you know, the final song on here, Whipping Post, 20 minutes. The only thing about this version of it is, and I've heard lots of versions of Whipping Post, and they always extend it. And you know, when they get towards the middle of the song, you know, the 10-minute mark here, and they do this a lot in the live versions. They build a lot of tension where it's just kind of like going on, and you're not really sure if it's going to kick back in, and you just feel it. They just keep building and building and building. Well, they do that with this one, and it never really gets to like much of a crescendo. It just kind of like fizzles, and that's the only like bad thing about the performance, I guess, is they didn't seem like they knew exactly where to go with it, and then it ended, and that was that. So other than that, I mean, they're playing great. You know, Greg's singing great. I mean, nothing really bad. And if you, other than the recording itself, I'm being kind of nitpicky there with Whipping Post, but I mean, if you're an Allman Brothers fan, this is worth having. I haven't listened. It makes me actually want to go check out what the other ones are that I didn't get, because I haven't gotten all these recently released stuff from the vaults. I haven't listened to the Allman Brothers for actually quite a while, and I heard about this one coming out, and I'm like, yeah, you know what? I haven't listened to those guys in a while. I actually love that band, and no real reason for not listening to it, just because there's always so much new stuff coming out that sometimes you lose, contact with some of the old stuff that you love. So this was kind of fun to sit down and listen to, and just, certain music brings back memories, and this kind of did that with me. It was fun just to kick back and listen and enjoy this one. And so if anybody out there has picked up any of the other stuff, the other vault ones, feel free to comment down below and let us know what you think of all that stuff. There's a really good one out there that we should pick up. It's maybe even a better performance than this one, or there's ones we should maybe wait till later to get. Let us know as well, or any other good Allman Brothers stories, or anything you want to mention down below. Always feel free. Make sure you like, subscribe, share, all that stuff I always ask for, because it really does help. It's great seeing all the interaction lately. A lot of people commenting, and it's good to see. That's what I started this for, just to get people talking about the music that maybe we wouldn't always normally talk about. I know I've done some bigger bands and stuff, but I like talking about the unknown stuff and maybe not as well-known stuff, and this one kind of falls a little bit in that category. It's not it's great, obviously a well-known band, but not maybe a super well-known release. So anyway, so that's that. Talk to you guys later. See ya.